Okay, thank you, Senator Sullivan. Senator Gillibrand.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Thank you both for your dedication and service. I'm very grateful that you're taking on these jobs at this time. I want to continue the recruiting conversation that Senator Sullivan started, Mr. O'Keefe. So this committee has for a long time tried to enhance getting the best and brightest that we possibly can in certain mission areas where we fall short. One of those mission areas has been cyber. And I don't have to recite for you the litany of cyber attacks on this country over the last 5 years that are devastating and ones that could easily undermine our military readiness to the point that we can't fight a war or respond effectively. So one of the goals of this committee is to create a cyber academy where we can create a ROTC type program at over 600 schools and universities across the country, from community colleges to elite universities. And that program has been up and running now for a couple of years, and it's working. We are getting recruits from all across the country, and these are for non-military jobs, because obviously in the DOD, there's a great deal of non-military civilian jobs who do cyber specifically. A cyber personnel behind a computer screen, it doesn't necessarily have to be trained like a Marine to be lethal outside of their lethality on a keyboard, which is why we want to be able to recruit beyond any personnel who would want to come and serve as an Army officer or a Marine officer or any enlisted personnel. So the DOGE cuts are undermining this entire ecosystem. And so the reports we've heard is that these kids are waiting to get jobs. They actually have done the work we've asked them to do. They've done 4 years or 2 years of training specifically on the mission set that the DOD has given them for cyber, and they are waiting to be employed. And so the data is terrible. We created this program to get more recruits, to enhance our readiness, and DOGE cuts are impacting. Right now, winter graduates have not been able to obtain jobs, and internships were limited just 25% of eligible students. Again, we're going backwards. In a mission set we have been desperate to meet. So, Mr. O'Keefe, can you commit to me that you will work to strengthen the Cyber Academy, that we will work to get the full complement of 1,000 students enrolled every year, and that we'll continue to work on campuses across the country to increase the number of schools that have the curriculum we need, and eventually to create a bricks and mortar academy so we have the cyber personnel we actually need?
Senator, yes, I think this is you've hit on a number of really important topics. One is military and civilians need to work together in this area. Not everyone, to your point, needs to be military, and the Department of Defense needs to be a better employer of civilians in this area. There's a number of authorities there, but yes, I think this is a very useful focus for the department, not just for cybercom, but across the board.
Mr. Obadel, thank you so much for your decades of service, and thank you for being committed to this new mission. Now, I want to talk about the drone incursions we've seen over our military bases. I know you have expertise in this area, and I would like you to talk about it because the publicly available reports about the drone incursion over Langley is shocking, concerning, and we can further this conversation in a skiff. But in this open session, what are you going to do to fight for the authorizations, for the technology investments, for the ability that when we have drone incursions over highly sensitive military bases that arguably are spying on us with no recourse from unknown origins, could be any adversarial nation, what do you propose to the Department of Defense, to the Secretary of Defense, to this committee about enhancing authorities so we can take them down over military bases and have the authority to do so, that we can run missions if necessary to follow drone incursions to their source to see if they're being launched from ships nearby, seeing if they're been launched from fields nearby owned by adversarial nations? What is your plan?
Well, Senator, thank you for your attention to it. It is a critical problem, as we've seen growing over the years. And to me, from a strategic standpoint, I see this as defense of the homeland. And so there are a number of, well, I really put this in two buckets. One is technical layering of capabilities, which would be different in a place like Syria or Iraq than would be in New York over a base because of the ability to use kinetics or electronic means to affect incursions by drones. But the other is the layering of authorities. And this is where I think it gets really complicated. The technical part, I am confident in the Army's acquisition capabilities and industry to be able to bring together solutions. The more difficult part is weaving together the number of authorities, and you mentioned this, right, because it goes to local and state authorities, Department of Defense, Department of Justice is involved, and Department of Homeland Defense in certain areas. This is probably the area that I would, if confirmed, that I would focus on the most is, as far as the acquisition community, let them work with industry to figure out what the right solutions are. But we have to turn the attention of Army leadership to across the interagency and down into our local governments to ensure that we're layering all of those authorities to their maximum effect.
Thank you. And I have a bipartisan bill with Senator Cotton that I would like you to review and give us comments on. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Senator Gillibrand, and thank you for your leadership on the cyber issues, Cyber Academy and everything. She has been the leader on this committee on that, and it's really important to follow through on the issues she raised. I want to